Malaysia, hose and coupling specialist. So today I'm gonna show you the whole process from crimping hoses up until the hose is tested. But first, I need to show you how to calibrate the machine to see if the machine can still press up to spec. Okay. Press the utility, probe calibration. Yes. Now the machine wants me to put the die 32. Die 32 is the one that we normally calibrate the machine, okay? Right, this is my die 32. I'm gonna put it into the machine, okay? This is my calibration manual. I'm gonna put it in. Always make sure that you follow the instructions on the screen, okay? Right. It tells me to use the small part of this manual, okay? Now, I'm gonna go for the other side, the big side of this mandrel, right? Right. Now, this is the result of what I've been doing, okay? Now, my machine says 0.9931, okay? It should be 100%, but as long as it says 0.99, it's still okay. It's only allowed to up until 0.85. On the other side of 85, less than that, then the machine is not good for crimping. So calibration, we prefer to make it once a month, but it might happen that you can do it twice, depending on the volume of the job that you have, okay? Right. Then calibration is complete. You've recorded all those information. The machine is still okay, right? Now I go for assembling of the hose. Okay, this is my hose. It's XT3-24. Okay, on the screen, I'm gonna choose XT3ES-24. Now that I have too many XT3s, I need to be sure of if it's a standard hose or the tough cut one. So at this point, I've got the normal hose. Okay, I'm gonna choose normal hose. Okay, now it says select coupling type. So the coupling type at this moment it's XN4. Here is my XN4. I choose it. Okay. What is the dash size of the hose? It's dash 24. Right. Choose dash 24. Okay. Install correct die group. The die group that I need to put in here is 57. Okay. Okay. This is my die 57. I'm gonna put it in, but first I have to take that one out. Okay. Put in the die 57. Okay. Now die 57 is in. Now what I'm gonna do is to do the coupling insertion markings. To protect it from scratching while I'm putting it on the vise. This is my coupling. Need to make sure that when I put it in, then it come up to here. So most of the guys, they just put it in without the marking, and sometimes they rely on the sound of the wires when they just grip inside, and that may cause not putting it fully into the coupling, because sometimes that sound comes from the threads, and you might think that it's deep on the bottom of this coupling, right? So okay, my marking is inside, so now I'm sure that this coupling is deep enough into the hose, right? Now what I'm gonna do, our hose looks like it has angle of orientation. Now what we prefer most is to line the bending of this coupling with the bend of the hose. This is to make job easier for the mechanic to put it in on the machine. Now my coupling is in. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna press one side of this hose, not both at once. My die is in, the correct die, right? I press go. Now it tells me how far must I crimp this coupling. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the crimp measure. My crimp measure is here, shows 59, and my hose is a no-skive hose, right? Right. Gonna put this to 0, then back again looking for 59. This is the distance that I have to crimp this hose. Some of the couplings doesn't want you to crimp the hole, otherwise it will have a crack on this. Okay, now I'm doing the marking. Okay, this is a full crimp. In. Okay, first. Okay. Now my coupling is crimped. As you can see, my marking still shows that it's still okay, right? Then the step to follow now is the crimp measure. You need to measure the crimp if it's up to spec. Okay. Right. Enter. Right. That's okay. Okay. Now I'm gonna start making my crimp measure. When you do the crimp measure, make sure your caliper is in between these lines, not on top of these lines. Otherwise, this is gonna give you the wrong reading on the computer. Okay? Okay. Got a foot switch here. My foot switch. Each time when I make a crimp measure, then just hold it like that and then enter. Okay? Then show it the last one. Enter. So now it shows green. So meaning that the crimp is according to spec. Now the required crimp measure is 58.25 and there is still a tolerance of 25, whether you crimp less or more. But once it's above 25, maybe like 26, then it will show red. So your crimp measure won't be correct. Okay? So always take re-measurement up until it shows that all the way it's red, then your hose is not right. Or all the way it's green, then your hose is okay. Done with the first side of my hose, crimp, then I'm gonna go for angle of orientation. The second step is to make angle of orientation as per the breakdown. Okay. Now, according to the breakdown, it says 325 degrees. It's 325. Right. Make sure that the coupling face each other. Put the protector on top of the hose with the line in the middle of the hose, not on the side or the side, in the middle. Okay? I'm just gonna turn the angle of orientation clockwise. The purpose of that crimping one side of the hose, I can even grab with the crimp coupling. I can use the crimp coupling to turn the hose clockwise. Okay? Turning the hose clockwise up until get the water level. Right. This is my water level. It's okay, right? What I'm doing is to mark the coupling and down to the hose. This is for in case if I'm busy unclamping this on the vise, then if it moves, then I know to turn it back to the lines. Okay. Right, take it out. Right. This is my angle marking. My marking is in line with the hose. Right. Now I'm gonna go for second crimp. Now our hose is complete in crimping. Okay. The next step is to make a testing of this hose. So before you test the hose, you need to check the PSI of this hose. But the PSI of this hose, it's 2,538 PSI. It's a work pressure. Right. Before I clamp it on the test bench, make sure you put the seals in. Okay? Put the seals in. Right. Okay, our hose is clamped in the test bench. Right. This test bench just got sense switch for safety. Okay, for in case if there's something happening, then they will notify you. Okay, right. First door, we close. Okay, making sure that it's locked. Right. Second door, it's locked. Right. This is our test bench. It has got two options. Test with data integration. So this is where all information from the start, when you crimp the hose, is gonna lead to the test bench, right? The second option is when you just test it manually, right? Now, in this case, I'm gonna test it with data integration, right? Okay. Now, enter with the certification is no, right? Work order number. Work order number, you put in your invoice number, ne? That's okay. Assembly part number. Get it from the breakdown. Enter. Order quantity, it's one hose. One. Okay. Customer name. Let me check the customer name. Hose per test, I'm going to test one. Okay. Now the same information that I put on the computer, I'm still going to fill it in like same. Okay. This was the XT3 XN4-24, right? The work pressure. Putting in the PSI of the hose. Okay, it's 2,538. Enter. Right. This pressure is going to be doubled. Okay. Okay, now I'm gonna test the hose. While testing, you can also still check the hose if there's a leak. just to check if it's correct and then there's no leaks. Okay. Other thing is, once you finish crimping there, it automatically print the hose assembly label printer. Okay? Then after that, you test the hose. So testing the hose, it comes again with the test label that shows that the hose has passed the test. Right? These are the labels. So what we're gonna do now is to put all these labels on the hose. So our label has got the barcode on it, whereby in future when you want to know about the hose, you can just scan on the barcode, then it will tell you the whole history of that hose, who made it, when was it tested. Then this is the text. Okay, this is the first tag for the hose assembly, and then this is the test bench tag, which shows that the hose has been tested and it has passed. So this will give our customer a peace of mind that the hose has been tested, no problem. Okay, now I'm gonna put this text. I recommend putting the text in the middle of the hose, not here. Why? Because this hose is going to be mounted on the machine. If it happens that underneath the machine this is mounted, okay, now that tag is no more there. The customer won't know that this hose has got a part number. So the purpose of putting the part number tag in the middle is for the customer to see the whole information. The test bench tag is there, the hose assembly part number is there. Okay, so that's why we prefer to put the text in the middle of the hose, so that the customer can see the information in times where he wants to order the other hose or replace this hose. Okay. This is the tag. Right. Second one. Right. This is my two label part numbers tag. Right. Now, after finishing this, you need to cap this hose in case for contamination. Right. Before you give it to the customer, make sure that the hose is clean, and then you put the caps on for contamination.